Hello, everybody. Today's forecast we'll be covering two areas of a level 3 enhanced risk. One across the southern plains, Texas and Oklahoma. One across the Mississippi area, across Arkansas, Mississippi, and parts of Tennessee, kind of out here. The main threat will be hail and wind, but there is two areas of an elevated tornado risk. I'll get to that here in a moment. We still have that low pressure system out here, pretty much around Nevada, Utah, and Arizona, arriving on the Four Corners region of Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. And as that does continue that direction, we'll be watching it very closely. But as you can see, it's still kind of negatively tilted here. It's still bringing up a couple pieces of energy out here across Oklahoma and Texas, and still pulling up plenty of moisture ahead of these storms. So let's go ahead and carry on here as this storm kind of ejects off into the plains into this afternoon and evening. This is going to be the main jet energy, and this is going to help spark storms off the dry line and cold front. And any storms that can stay out ahead of these will be very large hail producers, damaging winds, and that tornado threat is still there. But as the storm finally kind of go on past, it'll bring a marginal risk, or more like a slight risk, across Texas. But it's also going to bring eventually a marginal risk from Texas pretty much all the way out to Florida off the Gulf Coast. Now I'm going to go into further south here. Going off into temperatures. We're already here at 17. Easy here. It's going to be about still morning hours, I think. Just like 11 o'clock, I think. We have some upper 70s and low 80s to mid 80s kind of out here in the main concern area from northwest Texas into southwest Oklahoma. Very warm temperatures, and those temperatures are expected to rise kind of throughout the day and into this afternoon and evening. We're expecting more mid 80s across central and northern Oklahoma, and some 90s across northwest Texas, maybe even a spot or two of 100. Or there's also going to be plenty of moisture around. And then again, as the system kind of goes by, that cold front crashes through. It's about roughly where that cold front is. It looks like it's about to me. Because we have 60s on the north side, 70s on the south side, maybe even an 80 or two down there. And then that cold front should stall in kind of around central Texas tomorrow for Monday on the 26th. And then going to the moisture dew points. Just like yesterday, we're still dealing with 70s from Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, all the way up to Mississippi and West Alabama, and all the way back down to southern and central Texas, even parts of northwest Texas, really. And that dry line is still out here in West Texas. This is eventually going to shift eastward, and that is going to be a starting point for storms. And there already are a few storms going off now. But throughout the day, we are expecting more moisture to kind of rise up a little bit and into central Oklahoma, eastern Oklahoma. But that cold front will eventually start crashing down here. Cold front should be about here, but it's going to continue southward towards Texas eventually. But down in actually, this might be the cold. I just woke up from a nap, so I'm gonna be a little dizzy. But we have a lot of 70s down here in Texas. That's gonna be plenty of fuel for storms tomorrow. But tornado threat will be much lower, and then kind of throughout the day tomorrow, we get throughout the morning hours, the dew points will kind of remain the same. Going up down to severe weather. ml Cape, dealing with like 2,000, 3,000 joules per kilogram in the about noonish already, and then again throughout the afternoon, these dew point or as the dew points continue to increase to the north, we will be seeing higher dew points into the 4,000, even 5,000 range across central and southern Oklahoma, where we are expecting a kind of a bowing segment of storms to shift east-northeast. And this does include Oklahoma City for very large hail, damaging winds. Just keeping a close eye on that. And then throughout the night, as that cold front smashes through, everything will kind of fall down south ahead of the cold front, which should be about here, and into Texas. So still keeping a close eye on that, but down in central Texas, central and southern Texas throughout the day, Monday is what needs to be watched closely. Let's go look at the significant tornado parameters, because there is a tornado risk today. As of now, very, very low kind of tornado parameters here, but still early, kind of early in the day right at the moment. And then throughout the afternoon, it should kind of rise up a little bit. Yeah, we just kind of see a pocket here in southern Oklahoma where that tornado parameter spikes, but that's just after 6 o'clock. This is going to be about 9 o'clock right here. But, yeah, definitely keeping a close eye on that for sure. And I'll kind of shift off down south ahead of that cold front for tomorrow. We do have a more elevated tornado parameter here to the west. Perhaps that needs to be watched closely, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now let's go to reflectivity. We still have kind of remnants of storms. Some may be severe out in eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, far west Tennessee, kind of around the Mississippi Valley area. Those are more general showers and thunderstorms, but maybe a severe one or two. But we're talking about, this is about 1 o'clock. We have a big cell out in Texas. This isn't really what's going on right now. It is out there in Oklahoma, or sorry, North Texas. Keeping a close eye on that, but again, this is about, this is about 3 o'clock p.m. This is showing, sorry. 3 o'clock p.m. we have this cell out here in Northwest Texas. And I do think this is when the tornado threat will be at its highest, is when these cells are a bit more separated, maybe a bit more clustered. But as they, and this is 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. And maybe we'll have a strong cell or two kind of out ahead of the main cluster out here in central Oklahoma. Maybe a strong one. But what I'm concerned about is the overnight hours, where we have a kind of line segments lining up as they continue off to the east. We need to watch them very closely. Here's 7 o'clock, and the HRRR model does bring up a lone supercell, a strong supercell out here in the Oklahoma City metro area. Not totally locked in on that, but if that does happen, I'll be watching it very closely. And then, so about 6 to 8 o'clock, that one cell will probably come into the metro. But starting at about 8 o'clock, the main wave will start to pop its head through. And we'll have like strong cells pretty much down this entire line that we need to watch closely. So it's at 8 o'clock. Here's 9 o'clock. Still have a couple strong cells across southwest Oklahoma and central Oklahoma. Need to be watched closely. There's 10 o'clock and about 12 a.m. in the morning, I believe. That's what this is showing here. So still, it kind of bows out a little bit further to the south in Texas. Kind of slightly bows out here. But damaging winds will be a big factor down there, and as far north as Oklahoma City throughout the evening hours. So regardless, I think damaging winds will be the primary threat. But again, here we do the HRRR model does bring up this one kind of lone supercell cluster up here into Oklahoma City between 6 and 8 o'clock p.m. So I will be watching that very closely in case that does try to do anything, because it's kind of all alone, and so that can become a more elevated tornado risk. And there is a lot of low level moisture out here that that will be plenty of fuel for any tornadic thunderstorm or any storm in general. So we're watching that very closely. To go to the Storm Prediction Center, here's the day one outlook. Here's one enhanced risk out here. Eastern Arkansas through western Alabama and northern Mississippi. That's kind of mostly a wind risk. And then the main one out here across central Oklahoma that goes southwest into northwest Texas and very close to the Texas-New Mexico border. Let's go look at the tornado risk here. 2 areas of 5%. One close to that Texas-New Mexico border, which includes Lubbock, just barely Abilene, Lawton, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, Texas, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I think they might expand it a little more to the east and northeast. Might. I can't 100% guarantee. I think they should, just because a couple models have been showing up that one lone supercell and a couple strong cells across central Oklahoma could produce a isolated tornado or two there. But we also have another 5% risk out here from pretty much Little Rock, Arkansas, and the Mississippi-Alabama border to the north. And we have a kind of lone 2% risk here in Colorado, pretty much in the Denver area, just north of the Pueblo area. Maybe an isolated landspout tornado or two up there. And a 2% risk in the pretty much far south Colorado. They should probably connect these in my opinion, but I guess they won't. But they have this 2% risk in northeast New Mexico, and that stretches out through east central to eastern Oklahoma. Again, I think they should increase this 5% risk, but they probably won't. And that 2% stretches into western Arkansas and far eastern Alabama. Wind risk, probably the primary risk today. Be careful. Probably the main risk here. 30% risk. There's 2 of them, actually. Out here in this kind of first area from almost the New Mexico-Texas border into southwest Oklahoma, where we have the significant risk, which includes Abilene, Wichita Falls, Lawton, and Lubbock. We are expecting some wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour. Wouldn't surprise me if we get a gust higher than that. And then we have a non-significant 30% into central Oklahoma, where we're expecting more 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Still could get 80 out of there. We'll just have to wait and see for that. But a non-significant 30% risk out to the east, from almost the Little Rock, Arkansas area out to the Birmingham, Alabama area. 67 constant 67-mile-per-hour wind gust, maybe up to 75. Not expecting an 80 out here. Maybe not. Still keeping an eye on that. Hail is another big risk. We can have up to softballs from Lubbock, Texas to Wichita Falls, Texas, up into Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And then outside of that, maybe some baseballs in that 15% significant risk from far eastern New Mexico down to the Abilene area of Texas. And up to maybe up the Edmond area of North Oklahoma City. That does almost reach out to Tulsa, but a 15% risk does stretch out into eastern Oklahoma, much of central northern Arkansas and northern Mississippi. Still keeping a close eye on that. Maybe some golf balls in there, because there isn't enough instability to get those storms really going. So that is your forecast for today. Again, I may be live on these storms. It depends on how late they really are, but keeping a close eye on them. Again, cold front kind of situating itself in Oklahoma, dry line out in Texas. Keeping a close eye on everything. Stay tuned in for a possible live stream later today.